Hello, today I'll be ranking all 28 coasters I've ridden in my life. Just like any other ranking video in the world, basically, the whole list is my opinion, and if you disagree, that's fine. Let's jump right into number 28. At number 28, we have Speedy Gonzales Hot Rod Racers at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now, I enjoy kiddie coasters and family coasters still, but this one I did not enjoy. The restraints press into my stomach. There are very janky transitions. I don't know if it's every other model is like this, but this one just didn't live up to what I thought it was. And what takes the number 27 spot is Woodstock Express at California's Great America. Back then, I would have ranked this as my number 1 because I was still a chicken that time. But then now, when I go back on it, the restraints are very cramping, not like Speedy Gonzales, but the drop is very shallow, has very janky transitions. It's kind of just a bigger Speedy Gonzales with a better layout, I guess. Now this ride is an exact clone of Speedy Gonzales Hot Rod Racers, and this is Roadrunner Express at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. The reason I have this ranked higher than Woodstock Express is just because the last time I rode it was 2019 and it didn't seem that bad. So I'll just rank it higher for now until I get a re-ride. This is Lucy's Krabby Patties. This ride is actually pretty fun. Even though it's a very small layout, I actually enjoyed it much more than the Speedy Gonzales clones. Now the last time I rode Cobra at Discovery Kingdom was in 2019, which was my last visit. And I marathoned this with my brother like all day, all night. So I guess it was kind of fun back then, but then now looking at the POV, it goes slow over some of those hills. But it's a good family coaster since back then when I was little. Next up is Roadrunner Express at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride is just the most mid family coaster I've ever been on. It's kind of the same deal with the Cobra, except I rode this in 2022, so I had a more enjoyable time on it. Next up is Grizzly at California's Great America. This stupid waste of land is so bland that you might as well be sitting in a rocking chair. And when I went back for a re-ride 1 or 2 days ago, I actually found that I was getting rougher. On some of the valleys, I was shaking up and down everywhere. And when looked closely, you can also see that Lucy's Krabby Patties has even a steeper drop than Grizzly. And by the way, look how shallow that is. That's literally straight track. And next on the list is Psycho Mouse. This is an Aero Wild Mouse coaster at California's Great America, and it's actually pretty fun. The drops are good, the laterals aren't good, and the trims don't kill the ride a lot. Now if you're wondering why I ranked Canyon Blaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain over Roadrunner Express in the same park, I just find that this actually, if it was an actual like thrill ride and it was like scaled onto a bigger size, then it would be much of a better ride than Roadrunner Express. And also those last bunny hops in the front are very deadly. Next up on the list, which I have no idea what spot it's in, is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom. The reason this is ranked so low is because there's already a mine train in this park, so this ride isn't really a good fit for Magic Kingdom, so I don't know why Disney spent all their money on this. But the ride experience is kind of fun. Y'all are probably going to be pissed off at this, but I ranked Gold Rusher at Six Flags Magic Mountain over Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Well, it was a more memorable experience. With all the jankiness, it was just so fun to get flung from side to side and just get like completely destroyed in those tight turns that you see there. And the views are better for this ride. Like actually, you get to see all those big roller coasters that are surrounding you and you're wondering why you aren't on those and you're on this stupid mine train. Okay, just kidding, the ride's very fun. And yet another Disney ride. This is Matterhorn Bobsleds at Disneyland, California. So take the fun jankiness from Gold Rusher and combine that with the good theming from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and then you get this. It's just so fun. This is when I rode this with some of my friends, and then my friends were like GPs, so they thought they were gonna die since they had to put their bags on the carts too. It was just so fun. They were just laughing hysterically. I had to wait an hour or more for like all of the rides I went on at Disneyland, and this was no different, but it was still very worth it. And yet more Disney rides. We have Big Thunder Mountain at Disneyland and Big Thunder Mountain at Magic Kingdom. I ranked these both together because they kind of didn't really seem any better or worse, so I just ranked them together. They're all smooth, they're fun, they have a few airtime moments, and it has good theming too. Next up is Ninja at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This ride is actually a really good family coaster. Even though it's kind of forceful on some of those helices, I think it's a good way to get them to go on some bigger rides. This is kind of like a stepping stone. Now, I don't like laterals, so when I go on this ride, I'm getting thrashed around from side to side, and then the restraints are stapling me when I get airtime and it hurts my hips. I'm sure this isn't a problem for most people, but then to me, it just bothers me a lot. Like, the stapling is just too much for me. Next up is Patriot at California's Great America. Even though it has a 54-inch height requirement, I still consider this like a beginner thrill ride for like smaller thrill seekers to get into like the bigger rides. This is kind of just like Ninja, except a step up from Ninja, like another stepping stone. It's a pretty good ride for families, actually. The only thing I wish is for this to get a 48-inch height requirement because it's not even that intense, it's not that thrilling. It's a good stepping stone ride. Next up is Demon at California's Great America. This ride actually has a really good drop for me since I'm not really used to the stomach drop feeling yet. I still get it on most drops and it's very fun. I don't know if people have noticed this, but that Demon Rock is a really good head chopper. I always have to like duck down every time we get into that rock, into the 2 corkscrews. This is just Demon, but with 7 inversions, and it's a bit more than 2 times taller. It's Viper at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Everyone says this ride is underrated, but if everyone says this ride is underrated, then how is it underrated? I just don't get it. But the ride itself is actually really good. It's very intense in the first half and has some great hang time in the second half. Next up is Batman the Ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain. The first few rides I got on this in the back row actually weren't that intense, but the next visit I came here, I rode this once in the back, and it was crazy intense. It was just running so much better than like a month ago. It was crazy. Originally, I ranked Viper over this, but then now Batman has the edge. You might get a little confused by this, but I actually do like Revolution more than Viper and Batman. Okay, you know how like almost every single roller coaster has like a big drop after the lift hill, or like after a top hat, it always has a big drop? Yeah, well, Revolution has 3, which makes it very fun for me since I still enjoy like moderate thrill rides. Even though the vertical loop is probably the main attraction, I still think the rest of the layout holds up for my eyes. Next up is Flight Deck at California's Great America. This is a perfect example of quality over quantity. Even though I don't like laterals, that 0G roll throws me to the side of the restraint. It's awesome. Not to mention the other amazing elements in this ride. Unlike Viper, this is the real underrated ride at Magic Mountain. It's Scream. Yes, there is a rattle, but it doesn't really take away from the ride. That 0G roll actually gave some pretty good airtime. And now to my number 4 roller coaster in the whole wide world is West Coast Racers. This ride is just so well rounded. It's got hang time, positive G's, negative G's, and thankfully it does not have laterals. The one complaint that I have that is very relatable to everyone who's ridden this is the comfort collars. I used to not mind them, but then the last few rides I got on them, they really bothered my neck and my ears, and it just didn't feel comfortable, which is kind of ironic. And next up on the list is the legendary Gold Striker, Apocalypse with a better layout. Now this ride's pacing is incredible. It just hauls through the whole course. Like, even when it's running slow, it just goes so fast through it. Yes, it's kind of rough, but it doesn't bother me as much as Apocalypse because that Apocalypse has a lot of laterals. And yes, I do like Railblazer more than Gold Striker. This ride is insane. Just like Gold Striker, this has non-stop action, non-stop airtime, non-stop pacing, but the only thing is it's very short. But nonetheless, it's still an amazing ride and made it to my top 3. This is probably going to cause the most controversy of all of the video, but yes, I do like Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Six Flags Magic Mountain more than Railblazer. Well, I just prefer a longer, less intense ride than a shorter, more intense ride. That's kind of it. I honestly don't get the hate. This is just a longer, less intense version of Railblazer or any of the smaller RMC Raptors. Yet to think I rode this on a cold and rainy day and it made it to my number 2 spot. Dang. I'm looking forward to riding this on a hot sunny day and I'm in the back row because I haven't even gotten a back row on this ride, I just realized. And now to the number 1 spot. You probably already guessed it, but yeah, it's Twisted Colossus. And just keep in mind that I haven't gotten an X2 yet. I don't have the balls to do it. And to think that they're better RMCs than this is just hard to believe because Twisted Colossus is like almost perfect to me. I wonder how it can get any better. I don't know if I'm lucky or not, but then most of the times I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain, Twisted Colossus was double dueling. I don't know if they're just increasing the times they're double dueling or I'm just lucky, but it's really good when it's double dueling. And to be honest, I don't even mind the green side's lift hill being so slow just because the ride that I just went on, the blue side, is so awesome. And don't get me wrong, the green side is also great, but I personally like the blue side better. Whew, that was long. I need some rest. Goodbye.